I'm astrologer Penny Dix, and I'm bringing you an Astrobite. And have you noticed the deliberate error? I did not say hi, because, which is hi, I'm astrologer Penny Dix. I didn't say that because someone in the last Astrobite said, well, if you drop the hi, I'm sure you'd get hundreds more subscribers. Personally, I don't understand why the word hi would stop people from subscribing, but comments in the chat, please. I would be absolutely fascinated to know what you think about it. I mean, it's just me, isn't it? But maybe this is Venus conjunct Neptune, which is the Astrobite we're going to talk about today. Because, of course, Venus has just moved into the sign of Aries. And what does she do as soon as she leaves Pisces and gets into fiery, action-packed Aries, but bump into Neptune? And Neptune, of course, takes her back into that kind of Neptunian, Piscean reverie of numinosity, so that she's really not quite sure who she is. And maybe that's where I am today. Who am I? Answers in the chat. But seriously, I know you're here to find out how the energy of this Venus conjunct Neptune, which is going to linger around for a few days, will affect us all. Well, let's just think about what energy we do have, because it helps to just be aware of the significant transits that are going on apart from Venus conjunct Neptune. Mercury, for example, our planet of communication, is moving towards an exact sextile with Jupiter in the sign it rules. Well, Jupiter isn't in the sign it rules, but Mercury rules the sign of Gemini, and that's where Jupiter is. And Mercury is sending this signal to Jupiter today, which is like, wake up. We've got things to talk about. I've got ideas. I've got plans. I have lots of plans that are firing up my passion as I travel through the sign of Aries. And here's poor Neptune, who's got stuck with, here's poor Venus, who's got stuck with Neptune. But is she stuck, or is it actually quite positive? If you remember when I was talking about the Venus-Neptune conjunction and Venus-Neptune energy, it's a blend of energies of love, beauty with idealism. So we have the bold, independent, fiery nature of Aries with the romanticism and the beauty and the dreams and the imagination that Neptune is trying to instill into Aries, that just wants to keep going and get to where it got to get to as quick as possible. And Neptune is thinking, well, I'm going to be here for quite a few years, so I'm just going to sit here and have a look around. So I guess we could say there is something about the romantic idealism that Venus can have conjunct Neptune that is touched or flavored with the assertive and bold energy of the sign of Aries. She wants to initiate action in the sign of Aries. Now, be this a relationship, be this a new love, be it a new friendship, be it an idea or a dream or a project that you wish to manifest. There is a longing and maybe potentially an idealization of this dream. But because Venus in Aries is fired up with the impulsivity and directness of Aries, she's just really desperate to move on and achieve her dreams? Are there things at the moment that you want to manifest into your life? Are there dreams you want to make manifest? Be it to do with relationships, career, health, where you're living, your residence, your family. Because Venus is going to make you feel an urgency and an excitement around these ideals. Because as Mercury gets closer to its sextile with Jupiter, it's firing up these energies of ideas and dreams and the what ifs. What if this actually manifests? So there's a lot of creativity for us to indulge in with this blending of Venus and Neptune. So we may feel that we are the hero or the heroine in our own drama. But is this a drama with a positive ending, or is it a drama that is about unrequited love? Well, we will have to see, because there is an element, I think, of Venus conjunct Neptune that can bring in that sense of self-sacrifice because of this love meeting, this assertive energy of Aries. And it blurs the boundaries. Neptune blurs the boundaries and wants to just linger and drift into the lovely feelings of the this could come true feeling. So what we have to do, how we cope with this energy, is to find a way to balance what we need personally, what we need to manifest, the reality, the actual, sort of is this a realistic dream that I'm trying to manifest? And we have to somehow look at how we can blend that with our romantic ideals, but also with our intuitive sense of what actually may unfold. Because if we're caught in illusion and delusion, we might find our dreams and our attraction to a situation, a project, a person is misplaced, and that we are worshipping at the altar of a false god or goddess. But there is something highly charismatic about Venus in Aries conjunct Neptune, so that Venus will be seen as someone who comes into your life who seems to represent the ideals and the romanticism and the dreamlike qualities and the almost Svengali type attitude to help manifest your dreams. It can be a mentor, someone who says, I can guide you, I can show you the best way to achieve this. But I think what we have to do is be mindful whilst the energy of Venus conjunct Neptune over the next few days that we don't idealize and act impulsively. We need to understand the facts. Remember, Venus rules Taurus. Taurus is earth and fixed. Venus also rules Libra, which is air and cardinal. So she does have an ability to cut through and get what she wants. But she also needs to find some stability with her feet firmly placed on the ground to not get lost in a whirlwind of overwhelming creativity. around what she wants to make manifest. Because what can happen if we act impulsively with this energy? So this is the warning. Don't act impulsively in anything. Remember about Saturn back there in Pisces, who is saying it's timing. Timing. Remember about timing. Because what can happen is if we rush ahead and don't listen to our gut feeling, we end up with disillusionment and disappointment, because the reality does not match the fantasy that we have created. So make sure that you are looking plainly and clearly at whatever it is that you want to manifest, warts and all. So you will feel like you're being called to allow your heart to overrule your head. And what I'm suggesting is that it's actually better to let your head come in and sense from your soul the reality of the best way forward, because everything is going to feel as if it's this is a meant to be. I just know it. This relationship, this home, this business, this idea, it's meant. Slow down. Remember Venus conjunct Neptune. She is covered with a foggy veil of illusion and confusion. Wait till she's moved past Neptune in a few days' time. Then re-look at whatever it is that you are wishing to invite into your life, and I think you'll see it much more clearly and much more plainly. So the word for the day I thought that would be helpful is idealization. So I thought what would be helpful is to look at the problems that can arise from idealizing situations, of putting ideas or people on pedestals that leads us to disappointment because we're caught in illusion. And it can even mean that we betray our own ideals. So let's have a look at the quotes that I found, because the first one is from our wonderful psychoanalytic psychotherapist Carl Jung, who says, "We do not see things as they are. We see them as we are." And this is about the projection of the idealized image, dream, represented by Neptune. So that it says more about the dreamer or the idealizer than it does about the actual situation they're wishing to manifest. Fyodor Dostoevsky in The Brothers Karamazov, which I don't know, is, "The more I love humanity in general, the less I love man in particular." And this is about, if we have that idealized view and conception of love, the reality will always fall short, because the reality cannot live up to the expectations that we set it. So here's another quote that echoes Jung's idea of how idealization can be projection rather than perceiving what it really is, which is by Anais Nin. "We don't see people as they are. We see them as we are." This is just epitomizes Venus conjunct Neptune, or any aspect that you might have natally in your natal chart of a Venus-Neptune opposition, square, conjunction, trine, these are the kind of elements of your personality that will be there. So you have to always step back and think, hang on, I've got to see things realistically. If you have these aspects, keep the word be realistic topmost in your mind. Oscar Wilde said, when one is in love, one always begins by deceiving oneself. And one always ends by deceiving others. And that is what the world calls a romance. And this is quite a deep quote, because it's a very harsh critique of how idealized romance can mask a deeper denial of ourselves or the truth about another. So what about when we lose ourselves within this whole framework of idealization, which there is a danger of with this Venus-Neptune conjunction? Brené Brown said, when we put someone on a pedestal, we do them a disservice, and ourselves too, because we stop seeing them as human. And then Elizabeth Gilbert, who wrote that wonderful book, Eat, Pray, Love, said, to lose balance, sometimes for love, is part of living a balanced life. But you must never lose yourself to it. Rainer Maria Rilke, the German poet, says, I want to be with those who know secret things, or else alone. That's beautiful. And the thing is, you know, often if we idealize our romantic ideals or our romantic projections, the people that we have on pedestals, it's a very isolating and lonely life that we can lead, because we are worshipping from afar. And nobody, you know, if we met these people, no one can live up to the imagined standards we've put on them. And so there's finally two more before I bring today's Astrobite to a close. There's J.K. Rowling said in Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live. And that's the problem of Venus conjunct Neptune. We get so caught up in this kind of vortex of desire and fantasy of our dream coming true. It paralyzes us. It's like when Narcissus was caught by the image of himself in the pond. And he just kept saying to his image, because he didn't know it was him, but he just kept saying, but I love you. You're so beautiful. And the image was repeating, but I love you. You're so beautiful. And of course, he falls in, drowns, and dies, because that's what idealized love, represented by Venus conjunct Neptune, can cause us. And finally, we've got Tennessee Williams from A Streetcar Named Desire. I don't want realism. I want magic. And the comment here that goes with the quote is that this is a tragic irony, because it's the idealization that leads to Blanche's collapse in this Streetcar Named Desire. So there we go. Quite an interesting energy for a couple of days. And so remember, don't get caught into it. Keep your feet on the ground. Keep earthed. Difficult when we've got all this fire, air, and still quite a bit of water. So thank you for joining me. And please remember to like, comment and subscribe. And I might say hi, another day. So on that note, I'll see you soon. Bye for now. Bye.